Great, so let's get started. I want to thank everybody for joining here today. Just a little bit of housekeeping. We are recording this session. We are also going to send all those who are attending and registered a copy of this deck. So no need to take copious notes. I apologize in advance. Sometimes I get a little over caffeinated and talk fast. But you'll get a copy of this recording and you will get the deck itself too, so that you'll have the ability to review what we're looking at here today. So I appreciate you joining us. So we're going to get started here. We're going to cover a few things today, and the purpose of this webinar is to help you get more replies from your prospecting emails. In order to do that too, we're going to cover a little bit of foundational stuff, a little bit about where this methodology came from, and some complementary things that you can do along with your emails to help get you replies. And so let's get started. Oh, by the way, our company is called CRO Leader. We're a boutique firm that helps managed service providers grow their businesses. We focus on marketing and sales coaching. We have a variety of services that are quite affordable to help get you some leads and attention. We do a variety of things, and I hope you'll take a closer look at that and know that you can speak to Vernon anytime just by reaching out to the company. Chris will get you on my calendar. I also want to mention that our CRM of choice is GlassHive. Okay, and so we use GlassHive because ConnectWise, the PSA for the industry, has chosen GlassHive as their prospecting CRM. In fact, if you're a GlassHive user, you may have a free copy of GlassHive or a free instance of GlassHive that you can use for marketing. And if you do, again, don't hesitate to reach out to us for GlassHive best practices. We're launching a series of GlassHive best practices webinars shortly after this one. Okay, trying to get replies. The ugly truth when it comes to email campaigning, the fact of the matter is that open rates are abysmal. The industry is somewhere around 6% with a reply rate of less than 0.01%. Okay, so now the upside is you can send them for free and you can send tens of thousands of them, and you're annoying the hell out of most of us. So we delete them and put up blockers and spam filters and such. So how do we get around that? Deliverability is a big issue too. How can someone reply to something they haven't seen? And we have best practices around that too, which this is not that call for that. But if you're in your mass emailing, if you're getting poor results, it's a real good chance your emails aren't landing. And that's a separate webinar, but at a minimum, you should be constantly checking the quality of your emails. We run our CRM emails through NeverBounce once a quarter. Once a quarter, we run them through to make sure that we have a good hot list of valid emails before even doing it. We also have an additional series of methodologies and emails that get great deal of success. Our open rates are higher than 50%. In fact, many marketing professionals are very impressed with this. In fact, so is the GlassHive team. And it's one of the reasons they've asked us to do some GlassHive specific webinars and things like this one here to help their clients get better success. A lot of times people blame the CRM, whatever it is, HubSpot, and Zoom Info or whatever, but it's really in how you use it and what the best practice around any CRM, and everything we're sharing today can be used anywhere. So our open rates are higher than 50% typically, and we got like a 1.4 reply rate, still not good enough, because remember, replies aren't always "I'll take two." Sometimes replies are "Please, for the love of God, leave me alone," or "I think you have the wrong person." I'm not counting auto replies or unsubscribes. We're going to focus on today is called the Talk to Me method. We call it TTM, focus on the Talk to Me method. Okay. The open rates of Talk to Me emails, which are not mass campaigns, they're a series of personalized emails, okay, is around 43%, which I found interesting because we're at 50% for mass emails. Well, I can't explain that one. But the more personalized ones, the open rates are 43%, but the reply rates are 20%. They're 20%. Again, they're not always what you want to hear, but sometimes, that's just what you need to get the dialogue going. Most recently on one of mine, the person replied that this sounds like very creative AI, to which I immediately responded, this is not AI, just I. Person got a kick out of it. Although I still haven't got a meeting yet, we are communicating. Okay, so reply rates are significantly higher. Unfortunately, this is something that can't be done in a mass emailing method. So let's first take a look at some of the foundational things. You need to recognize your prospect targets. You have to have an ideal client profile and you have to have a database of ideal clients. It's not going to make sense if you're in Dallas to be sending an email to some lunch lady in Hawaii. Wrong title, wrong location, wrong person. Okay. Now, these are the criteria we suggest you apply when creating a checklist for your ideal profile. But there is actually a better or another way too, where you can simply say to yourself, when looking at the profile in your database and looking at it, say to yourself, is this a person I want to do business with? And if it is, okay, that's great. But if it is the lunch lady in Hawaii, unless you know you're going to Hawaii and you'd like a free lunch, that's not the person you want to be. So, first question, is this somebody I want to do business with? Now, the second question, which is equally important, or if not more important, is if given the chance, would that prospect choose my company to be their IT provider? Now, a great example of this is a small boutique MSPs, which there's 100,000 of them or tens of thousands of them out there, chasing the 2 or 3,000 seat client. Could you win it? Sure. Are you likely to? No. Because when they drill down and they check out your company, they're just not going to have the confidence in what they need. So, of the items that you see here, employee count is maybe the most important one. We suggest that you do not exceed 3 times the size of your current largest existing clients, unless you're pitching security services only. Whole nother conversation, whole nother webinar. But if you're, promoting monitoring, help desk, and things of that nature, we recommend that you stick to marketing to no higher than 3x your largest client. By the way, when you land that 3x client, then you get to multiply it and go up higher up the stack. But at the end of the day, if you want to make sure the client will choose your company, make sure they're compatible with your existing customer base. Easy for me to say. All right. So if you want to get a reply, talk to me like you know me. Okay. I have this cowboy hat on because, quite frankly, working here in the Northeast in a home office and having a head like this, it keeps me warm. And one day I was keeping my head warm, and my marketing lady goes, I love the hat. And we ended up changing all my pictures on LinkedIn and stuff. Why am I sharing this with you? Because if I see in the subject line, hey, cowboy hat guy, I know you're talking to me. You may not know me. You're acting like you know me. You're at least seen me. Okay. So what we're going for here is the idea that we're going to reach out to somebody in a one-on-one manner. Okay. But we're going to reach out to them reflective of the idea that we know them, who we are, what we do. Okay. Now, beyond that, we also want to take a look at their company and their company's website. Remember, it's our prospects' websites. And also, we want to take into consideration what vertical they're in. Are they a law firm? Are they in healthcare? Are they in pharmaceuticals? Are they a nonprofit? All of these verticals have their own unique challenges. And when reaching out, if I can speak to solutions for any of those challenges, I'm talking to them like I know them. And that's the whole point. So initially, what we have to do is we got to do the research, okay? Because we don't know everybody. So you go into your database of prospects and you find some of your favorite ideal clients that have not, or prospects that have not replied. And, I say start with 5 and do the research. Understand the vertical, maybe a couple of quick talking points, but at least understand the vertical. No need to take copious notes at this point, right? But just think about what goes on in that vertical in or around what that person, then talk to the person. So, what does their job entail? What can you learn from them on LinkedIn? And some companies also have Facebook pages, they have Twitter accounts. So you could learn a little something about that person or that company in both of those areas and give yourself, and I have a sample of one that I did here at CRO Leader, reaching out to a managed service provider in Tampa, Florida. It was a it was an over easy one, an over exaggerated one, but I was able to reach out to and have communicated with this person based on my talk to me email. This was a person who was in my mass emailing for years and read a few emails from time to time, but never replied. Okay, so you got to do a little research. You got to check them out. You don't necessarily have to finish your research, but once you kind of get some modus operandi going, you'll kind of know when you've gathered a few points. All right, so let's take a look at what this looks like. Okay. Oop. All right. Also, one of the things I got to suggest is when you are talking to somebody in this methodology. Wait a minute, how far did I jump? My apologies. When talking to somebody in this methodology, all right, this talk to me, be authentic, communicate them with them like you do. Now, consider myself uh, sarcastic. I like to think I'm funny, and sometimes I use that in trying to get attention or communicating. If you're neither of those things, don't try to be. Be who you are. If you're straight to the point, great. Shorter is better on all emails for all of us, especially prospecting. You've got their attention span for 3 seconds on a good day. Okay, so be you. Okay, don't celebrate something that you learn if you're not a participant of it. If you don't know anything about football, don't go sending an email to somebody in Dallas, go Cowboys, or in the Eagles. You probably could say congratulations on the Super Bowl win, but don't pretend to, uh, if you see somebody's an avid fan of a particular sport and you're not, don't try to cross that divide. Just the opposite. If you're lacking for something to say, so you could say, geez, I see you're a devout Cowboys fan, but I never understood football, right? Anyways, and again, then don't get too personal. The analogy I like to use here is, commenting on the quality of someone's appearance other than a cowboy hat, which is a characteristic. You don't want to go on and say, hey, Chris, I've been reaching out to you. I noticed I saw you love going to the beach on Facebook and your wife's kind of hot. That's a mistake. That's too personal. Quite frankly, it's creepy and inappropriate. Okay. So I apologize for the example. But like I said earlier, I like to think I am witty and humorous. So you be the judge. Just don't tell me what you're judging. Stay in the know me lane, okay? And don't jump into sales right away. What you want to do is we want to create a personalized email that evokes some of these reactions like, huh, okay, I get that. Or, you know, I agree, right? You can sort of validate yourself by discussing something, particularly in the vertical, that they already know. At least they understand that you know their vertical. Talk to me like you know me. Okay. And the best reaction I think you can often get from somebody from an email or any campaign for that matter is geez, I never thought of it that way. I mean, that is a fantastic response because in that scenario, you have taught somebody and you have become a valued resource or somebody who has an idea or an opinion that's been respected by the person who sees it. What would be a bad response if somebody's reading the email? Imagine if they're going, yeah, so what? Who cares? Whatever. I like to call out HIPAA. HIPAA is like speeding. It's only a problem if you get caught. Most of us speed all the time and we use tools to prevent us from getting caught. I don't really know if there's any HIPAA police, but unless somebody's information gets out there and you're being sued, I mean, if you think about it, HIPAA is like speeding. So if I send an email to you and say, boy, that HIPAA is sure keeping me up at night, not so much. Who cares? Whatever. I got things to do, right? So, and again, I pointed out, don't be too creepy. Don't be commenting on people's spouses, and don't don't go into sales, 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 buy, buy, buy. Remember, we're going for a reply here, not a purchase order. So stay in your lane. All right, so let's take a look at it. So now we've done the research. We kind of want to be ourselves. So this is where you have to add your creativity to the email, okay? So the subject line is the most important. Don't be afraid to be bold. This is a real prospect that I reached out to following this method, okay? In this person's LinkedIn alone, I learned just in her headline, okay, she's a two-time cancer survivor. By the way, she founded this amazing Genuine Human or .org organization, which just exists to help people in a variety of ways. Just a great organization, which said to me that this kind lady has a servant's heart. Something that appeals to me. I've done a lot of volunteering in my life, so I get a certain sisterhood with this lady out of the gate. She's a wannabe author. I'm a publisher of the MSP Owner's Manual, a complete guide to sales growth. Yes, that was a shameless plug, but I wrote the book. It's a great book, and you can have one for free just by putting your address in the chat. And she's also a humble servant to her toddler. Anybody who has kids knows what that's like. People think we're parents. Yeah, whatever. We are parents, but we're servants to our children, certainly till they're old enough to kick them out of the house. Okay, so I learned all of these things in later. So I took the subject line to not only talk to her like I knew her, I wrote survivor cancer free. I'm an entrepreneur with 5 kids. And I wrote the first book is the hardest. Within the subject line, now the subject line only has to make sense to her. Okay, this is not a mass subject line. Remember, her LinkedIn isn't up when I saw it, but imagine this is a lady who is a two-time cancer survivor. I know I got her attention. She mentioned she's a servant to her toddler, so she's a mom, but she also is running a business. So I call myself an entrepreneur with 5 kids. So I'm relating to her simultaneously, which, by the way, when you talk to me like you know me, you don't always get that opportunity, but it is certainly a direction you always want to lean into. And the first book is the hardest. Okay. So again, in the first subject line, the criteria to take into consideration is show me that you know me. It only has to make sense to the person who's getting it. Try to find 3, 4 bullets and put plus signs or some kind of symbol in between them. Okay, not commas, because they're typically distinct. What does being cancer free have to do with writing a book or having kids? Okay, so in my subject line, this person is like, who is this? Right? Again, we're not going for those other reactions yet. That comes in the body of the email. All right. So there's how you create your subject line. So when you're doing your research, think of those bullets, even though you may or may not address them later, that would demonstrate that person to that person that you know them. If they won best in show at the dog show, okay, I mean, not everybody's done that. You can't send a mass email, best of show. You don't even have to write congrats, best of show. You write best of show. Person who got best of show or won the sailing contest or, won the gold cup in the lower Cincinnati golf championship, right? That's an individual. You don't have to don't congratulate them. Just call out the award in the subject line. Got their attention, talking to them like you know them. By the way, I don't know why the open rates are smaller on our mass, but we don't lie about our statistics here because we have to deliver them. But again, we have a 43% open rate, yet we have a 20% reply rate. And that's clearly what we're going for. Now, here's where you really put the research to work. I typically am instructing you or encouraging you to have your first line always be, can I properly introduce myself? You're already talking to them like you know me, so you need to relieve them a little bit of the fact that they don't know you or that you don't know them formally. But you're walking up to them in this email and you're properly introducing yourself. So now this particular one, again, there was so much I related to. I started this email this way. And by the way, Cami isn't the real lady's name. Cami is a person that works for me. But I wrote, hi, hello, Cami. We are survivors, parents, and authors. Question mark. I put question marks. I don't know if she's written her book yet. Can I properly introduce myself? As a former two-time MSP owner, I know how hard it can be to get ROI from achieving steady growth. Now, I'm not selling here, I'm pointing out an issue that people have within their business. Sure, there seems like what a million companies like mine reaching out promising results, but how many are led by cancer survivors, parents, and authors? Okay, again, I'm leveraging the something that we have in common. All right, now one of these that I did, a person replied and wrote, "This sounds like uh, creative AI. Nice try." I immediately, and I was like, this is great. I immediately replied that it's not AI, just I, with a, LOL, haha. And, but the person thought it was AI. So uh, but I got a reply and it started a dialogue, which quite frankly hasn't gone anywhere yet. You're not always going to get the reply you want. But I'm certainly wearing that person down. That was not the case here. This woman replied, and we have started a conversation. "I see you have a sales professional on payroll, but I wish to have a conversation. It is you I wish to have a conversation with." Now, I'm reaching out to her. I have a website. We help companies grow, and I know she has a sales professional, but I was reaching out to leadership. So again, I'm sharing more that I know her company. I noticed it because I read it on LinkedIn. I don't apologize or demonstrate where I learned it. I just get right to the point. Okay. And here's where I think I differentiate myself from a lot of you on getting that appointment too, by the way, is do you have time over the next week or two to learn more? Tell me what works and I'll get a calendar invite. I don't ask them to click my calendar link to find a time in my busy schedule for them for the privilege of me trying to sell them something. Okay. Now, calendar links are great for people you're regularly communicating with who want to get on your calendar. But quite frankly, I'm always insulted when somebody who wants to sell me something, okay, doesn't work with my assistant to get an appointment, which I'm willing to do, or myself. They tell me to go into their calendar link. I don't do it. Okay, and I found others feel the same way. Look at this is a prospect. They deserve your red carpet, fullest attention. I ask them to find time over the next 2 weeks. I also don't send them a designated time. Hey, I'm free Tuesday at 10 if you are. How about hopping on a call? No. Look at your schedule. If I've intrigued you enough, if I've made enough communications, you find a time in the next 2 weeks. I'll send a calendar invite out. And when I go to book that in the requested time, unless I've got another prospect or a sales call set up, I move everything else for that person. All right. And then one more time, I address the problem. Okay. Share, we want to meet some objectives. I can only imagine you get with hit this claim all the time. We are different and get results only promise. Our methods are indicated in my book, and we can bring that to your team. Now, as an MSP who's trying to reach out to people, I don't know if you've written a book or a white paper, and you might not want to call that out. So some of the verbiage you might want to use here is, I know that it's difficult to get the right level of IT support you need and deserve. Let me help you with that decision, or let me help confirm that you've got the level of support you need. That is not salesy. Okay. Obviously, you're an MSP. Maybe you'll get there. Your prospect is not stupid, but don't ask to give them a quote or come in and check out their environment so that you can tell them you're going to do a better job. Okay. Because that would be the expectation. Okay. Instead indicate, like to have a conversation to see if you're getting what you need. Maybe share some of our methodologies, never bragging about, pushing how quickly we respond. Okay. So your first line is most important. Don't start with sales pitch. I always start with, can I properly introduce myself? And then transition into addressing a problem, whether it's with the company or the industry or needs, not you as the solution, Has your MSP outgrown you? Have you outgrown your MSP? I would tailor that to the size of the company you're talking to. Okay. If it's a company with 25 or 50 more employees, I might ask if they've outgrown them. If it's less than 25 employees, you might even use the line, does your MSP even know you exist? Right? Did they forget your name? Here at CRO Leader MSP, we like our clients to feel like they're our only customer. Okay, that's not salesy. I mean, it is a little salesy, but it's not pitching them a product. Okay, it's addressing a problem. They're feeling neglected, right? Or, um, they're just they're massively growing and they're concerned that their MSP can't keep up. And you're indicating you understand both. See the difference between talking about your three levels of service and what they cost. Show some value and try to meet objections before they come up. Okay. In this particular email, I came out and said, I know you get these emails all the time. I know others promise we deliver where they don't. Yeah, that's a little bit of salesy, but again, it's not selling a product. It's a little bit promotional, I guess, in nature. All right. So, and by the way, for those of you who may struggle with this, I have at no charge. We can walk you through this strategy. We can share screens. You can put up a prospect, and I'll help you with a little research. Trust me, once you get one or two under your belt, you're on your way. All right. So just a quick recap. Subject line, talk to me. Avoid salesy. Do not discuss product. Transition through conversation, right? Okay, keep it conversational. Find the challenge, industry, company. All right, don't get too personal. Don't use a calendar link or specific times. Okay, and again, promote, don't sell. All right, nobody's here to buy. Now, in addition to this, and we're going to show you when and how many of these emails to send in a second, but we've added something rather unique to this with deliverability, not sure what it is, into because we've personalized it, we have actually here, and some of our clients have done this, and you can see on the screen, we've created these postcards. I'm holding it up because I want to show you the size of it. It's about the smallest postcard you can do, and that's intentional because maybe I'll slide it in my pocket, maybe I'll throw it on my desk. Also, I'm only assuming I have your attention from the mailbox to the trash. Okay. Don't, and by the way, I don't want it to look like an advertisement. I want it to look like a note. If I wanted it to look like an advertisement, it would be 24 inches by 48 inches. It would be the biggest one in your mailbox. It would have glossy pictures so great you'd want to hang them in your wall so I could get your attention. It's not what I'm going for. I'm enhancing this methodology with a note. On the bottom of it, it says, I called, I emailed, I linked, and I hope you have your attention now. And this is a particular one that I wrote for this client that I never mailed because she replied to me. So I still have it right here. And this is what I wrote. I was sincere about our journeys matching, cancer, parent, MSP owner, and author. I would love to hear how your journey defines you. Could we do a podcast? I'm launching a podcast and I wanted to know if she wanted to join my podcast. I never sent this. And by the way, I did invite her to be a guest on our podcast once we launch, which we're doing shortly. Okay, so I enhance it with a postcard. So let's talk about now, just as important as the subject line and the content and the personalness of it, is when and how you send these things out. So here is what we do is early in the week, you do your research. Busy people, decision makers get their work done early. In fact, I try to book nothing on my Fridays intentionally. I save my Fridays to be able to make sure that I fulfilled all my promises for the week. And quite frankly, too, maybe I can sneak out a little early. It's great to be boss. Okay, but at the end of the day, I want to make sure that I get everything done I promised. I guarantee you there's stuff on my Friday calendar right now. Okay, but I try not to. But that's typically how decision makers are. They start Monday, we've got businesses to run, things to do, people to see. So I send my first email on a Thursday or a Friday. Okay. I send exactly the same one again over the weekend. Now, there's no set formula here. If you send it Thursday, you send it Friday. If you send it Friday, you send it Sunday. None whatsoever. Now, I typically sit down at my desk Sunday nights to do a little work and kind of look at my week ahead to avoid the early morning panic of a Monday morning. So I've been sending all my second talk to me emails on Sunday evenings. Okay, it's exactly the same one. On occasion, I have added a little extra line somewhere near the top in the content of the body. Not sure if you saw this yesterday. Not often. I'm basically sending the same email twice. Obviously, not to somebody who's replied. Once they reply, you stop the sequence. On the following Monday, I will call and I will leave a voicemail, and my voicemail is reflective of the emails. In fact, I will role play it for you right now. Beep. Hi, this is Vernon calling from CRO Leader. I sent you a couple of emails, one even over the weekend. In fact, oh, look in here. My last one I sent Sunday at 4:04 p.m. Not sure if you saw it. Vernon Harrison here. Great email. Go check it out. Boop. Nope, I did not leave my phone number, nor did I leave my email address. I have no illusions or delusions that somebody's going to write those things down. In fact, I sent them to the place that has all my contact information. I apologize. In my voicemail, I do indicate that the email has my contact information. I did leave that out. I'm going to do it again. Beep. Hi, this is Vernon Harrison calling from CRO Leader. I sent you a couple emails over the weekend. I sent you one over the weekend. Oh, it looks like I sent it Sunday at 6:02 p.m. My contact information's in there. Check it out. Beep. Okay, you get the idea. That's the call with a voicemail I leave after I have sent the first two emails. Now, I also send the third and fourth email during that week. I will lob some calls in depending upon how much time I'm spending prospecting. I just don't leave a voicemail. And typically, if I'm lucky enough to catch the person on the phone, I do go right to, hey, did you see my email? Because I'm going to have that email up in front of me. Okay. And say, listen, at the end of the day, I was just trying to find out if you're happy with your IT provider. Appreciate you paying attention to me. Oh, by the way, I'm a cancer survivor. Oh, by the way, go Cowboys. Sure. And remember, you're still being proactive here. They haven't replied to you. And we do the fourth emails, and then we send the postcard that Friday or that weekend. We sort of get the postcard out, and we spend the next week calling, maybe doing a LinkedIn invite. You can message someone with a LinkedIn invite. You cannot message them if you're not connected with them. So I wait to this point to do a LinkedIn invite. In fact, I make sure there isn't one pending because you can't send a new invite for 2 weeks once you withdraw the invite. So that's something you might want to check out when you choose your list of prospects. You're going to start to this talk to me methodology, okay, and how you're going to approach it. And then towards the end of the week, I will send a takeaway email with some of the same content. And what does that mean? That means I say, look, obviously you're busy. Maybe you didn't even see it at all, so you're not even seeing this. But I appreciate any attention you did give to me. I'm going to refrain from now. And I literally write that I'm going to refrain. So if there was some expectation, if they were on the fence to reach out, it really is actually going to trigger them now. I've had some pretty good responses to takeaway strategies in the past. And so this is a sequence that you follow with each of them. Now you should take them out of any traditional marketing that's done. Make sure they're not getting your regularly marketed email campaigns. But then I take the person, I dump them back into my marketing team's email bucket so that they'll continue to be marketed to. And I certainly follow those mass emails for my leads. Okay. And we do have some questions here in the notes. One of the questions was, you mentioned Glass Hive, and okay. So someone is asking, how can I manage this and follow this sequence in Glass Hive? Great question. Sorry, wrong webinar. My apologies. I will definitely show you on a one-on-one basis on how we actually do manage these in Glass Hives. You can't set up a journaling sequence. This is a talk to me methodology. I would avoid using any of those, reactive journaling sequences that you can set up when people open or click an email. You want to be able to trace this because remember, you're incorporating dialing and the personal postcard. So yes, we have a great way of managing it within Glass Hive, but I certainly don't have time on this call to show you, but great question. And somebody else is asking about how I can help you. Here's what we can do. Pick a prospect or two, okay? Reach out to Chris or myself. We have all our contact information here. We'll share some screens and we'll help you build that first one or two. Be our privilege and our pleasure to help you with that first one or two because pretty much after that you're on your way. okay, and just reference these slides when trying to build it. I try to do five new ones. I start to sequence five new ones a week. My SDRs and my sales professionals that do this full time, I ask them to do a fresh 20 every week. So they typically will have 60 or so in rotation at any given time. Okay, in an effort to get the much needed and deserved attention we need to grow our businesses. I hope this is helpful, and we have no other questions at this time. So I'll just let everybody know that you will get a copy of this deck, and in this recording, we'll show you where to view it. And we appreciate you joining us here today. So thank you. Here's my contact information. I'll linger here on it, but I think you have it all. We appreciate you joining. Thank you.